Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley. Today we are joined by founder of AttractWell, Greg Hillwine. Hey, Greg.
Hello, everyone.
We're so thrilled to have you here today. Today we're going to be talking about what you need to have in place in your business pre-launch. So if you have a course or a program that you are planning on launching in the future, then these are things that you might want to consider having in place now so that you can be building your list, generating excitement, and really warming up the list that you have and that you will build prior to making your first offer of this course or program that you have. So today we're going to be going over a list that is by no means exhaustive, but I think it's a pretty good selection of things that you can start with. We do have access to some more advanced material that we'll talk about here today, and we'll show you how to get access to that, and it will be free. So without further ado, let's head over into our chat here, into the attendees list. Hey guys, let us know what you do, where you're coming in from, and what you are hoping to launch soon. We're excited to learn more about what you're working on. So please do not be shy and let us know about you and your business in the comments. Always excited to hear from you guys. So we do have a lot to go through today, and I want to make sure that we have as much time as possible available to actually show and tell where you'd like to see it and to create context. So I am going to hop into the slides here in just a second so that we can dive right in. We will have this as a replay if you hop on a little late. Of course, you can always find this recording on our YouTube channel. One thing that I do want to make sure is clear here is that it's important that you have a process that you follow. And what you'll find in the slides that I'm sharing with you here today is a step-by-step process. I think one of the things that can get us frustrated with technology more often than not is the order of operations that we follow and how we use technology to implement the things that we want to see happening in our business. Too often, we are looking from the outside in and assuming that that is the way that we build, right? The best analogy that I can provide you, maybe the most familiar one, is that when we're building things for your business on the internet, it's just like building a house, right? When you're visiting someone's home, you don't see the foundation that was poured. You don't see the studs in the walls. You don't see the wiring. You don't see the ductwork. You see the windows, and you walk in and you see a beautifully decorated room. And what's important for you to know is that, the house that you're walking into, and you logically connect this, I'm sure, the house that you walked into was built with a foundation and then studs and then drywall and, all of the other bells and whistles. I'm not a home builder. I can't tell you anything more than that. But your business and the things that you want people to interact with your business needs to be built from that perspective as well. So it's not from what they see and experience. We don't build in that order, right? We need to dissect and then flip the order of what that looks like. So I have been sharing with you guys here on this channel lots of workflows and strategies, and I've got a lot of cheat codes for workflows for you here today. So, hey, welcome, energy healer, life transition coach. Excited to have you guys here today. Y'all keep it going over here in the chat. Now, without further ado, I'm going to get out of video and get into slides so we can talk about getting this thing done. And that's my whole screen, I think. That's not what I want. I want this one. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so today we are going over a checklist for things that you are going to want to consider having in place before the launch of your course or program. So what we'll do today is, of course, talk about these pre-launch assets that you can create, and all of them are relatively simple. And where they aren't simple, we've already got them done for you in various places, either inside the AttractWell system, inside of our member area, if you're in the Client Funnel Challenge, for instance, but also all over our YouTube channel. All right. And actually, last week's video, we talked about really the core pages that you need for your site. That sales page is definitely something that you're going to want to have for like, before launching your program. But that is, I believe, a given, right? So, all right. So pre-launch assets. And then, of course, we'll get into live help and Q&A. So first, let us know, hey, if you're here, if you haven't done so yet, let us know about your business. What do you do? And if you came here with questions, specific questions, whether they're about this topic or not, please go ahead and add those to the Q&A. Hola, Venezuela. Hi, we got more people coming in. Excited to see you today. Want to work together live? If you want to work on a call just like this in the future with me and our team to actually take a look at what you're doing, if you want feedback, strategy, you're welcome to do so at AttractWell.com/work review. And you can schedule a time on one of our upcoming Thursday calls where we can have dedicated time set aside to work together. And then, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube in the future, go to AttractWell.com/office hours to join the live call. Okay, so let me ask you guys first. Let me know in the chat. Do you have an offer in the works? Maybe a course, maybe a program, something that you want to sell that you're maybe not quite ready to sell yet. Let us know what it is and what you're working on. Maybe you're still in the, ideation phases, whatever that might be, and you're just looking to be prepared. That's super cool too. So if you've got an offer in the works, you have a plan to promote it. Of course, we can't just assume that if we build it, they will come. We've got to provide pipelines toward what we're selling. And we've got to set that up in such a way that we are directing people, funneling people toward the best possible place for them to convert into a new customer or into a client, right? So let's talk about the pre-launch assets I want to cover today. Obviously, like I mentioned at first, I think a sales page is a given. And we do have a full sales page training on our AttractWell channel on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/AttractWell, literally go and type in sales page, you're going to see a fully fleshed out sales page template for you, along with a complete walkthrough of what kind of things you want to say at what point, an analysis of sort of how the copywriting would best be placed in different parts of the page, as well as Canva templates for you to take advantage of to make your life easy. All right. So do make sure that you have a sales page if you plan on selling something on the internet, right? Unless you plan to process everyone manually and get on calls with every single person, in which case the client funnel challenge is for you. But unless that is how you plan on converting people, do make sure you have a sales page. Okay. So the next thing that we want to make sure that we have is a sales campaign. We want to sell this thing, right? We want to get in people's inboxes and show up on a repeated interval basis to let them know, come buy it, right? And then we have to make sure that it's actually going out to the right people, because just because you created a thing to sell doesn't mean that everybody has that problem or wants that thing right now. So how do we best situate ourselves to create, or if we have an existing audience, to segment our audience so that we could put this offer in front of the people who are most ready right now? And the way that we can do that, we've got a couple of different great options here. One of those is a waitlist funnel. We'll talk about when you would use it and how it would be made. We'll do that for all of these. Your freebie funnel, which is, it could be a sneak peek into your course or more along the lines of the client funnel challenge. It could be something that is within an aligned currency that the program or course addresses that is also relevant to your ideal person, more of a traditional funnel. And then a live challenge, which is a really interesting thing you can do. It's a little bit more complicated, but I can share some case studies and information with you here today about ways that this has worked really well for different offerings. And then we have, in quotes, a webinar funnel or a webinar style funnel. We'll say just out front here, we aren't really into, gimmicks and manufactured urgency and things like that. So you're not going to find advice here on how to create a funnel that has a webinar in it that behaves like a live webinar, but that's not actually live. We're going to be offering people an opportunity to engage with something that they want access to right now. And no funny, weird, sneaky bells and whistles, right? So I'm going to show you how you can have a webinar style funnel inside of your AttractWell system by just having a video and then putting some things in place. And by the way, for each of these things, for these different funnels, including the challenge, I'm going to show you a diagram as well, sort of a layout of how these things would be built in the system. Because going in and showing you each of the individual pages, I think could get visually overwhelming, especially considering your use cases are going to be quite different from what I could come up with as an example, or you amongst each other. So if you have a specific request as we're going through this, be writing that down and putting that in the Q&A if you'd like to get some context on how one of these types of funnels or assets can be applied to your unique business or launch. Okay, so first let's talk about our sales campaign. This is a given, it's a must-have, you gotta have it, right? And it's pretty straightforward. This is actually the one opportunity that you have in your business that you should be pitching. Just aiming for the seats here, right? Just to knock it out of the park. Your sales campaign, this is something that can be applied manually to the right contacts or automatically. And I will go into with these funnel examples when and how your sales campaign would be applied. It's important that your sales campaign is something that is something that is separate from, you're not just going to broadcast sales messages to your entire list. It is really important when you have an offer that you give people the opportunity to show that they are someone who's ready for what you have right now. Otherwise, you risk losing them on your list, right? A lot of people who are really great with copy and make a lot of offers, Laura Belgray comes to mind. I love her list. She will often, before she has a launch of something that she's about to sell, she'll actually provide an opportunity for people to say yes or no, I don't want to hear, or I do want to hear about this thing that you're going to be selling. I forget which one of them that she does, but basically what she would do is, hey, I'm about to, launch one of my courses that I launch once or twice a year. And this is in an email. Hey, I'm about to do this to her audience. If you would prefer not to get these emails, click here. Now, if you wanted to do something like that in your AttractWell system, all you would need to do is apply a tag to an automation that you would then later filter out, right? So if you're going to be sending the sales campaign, you would only send it to people who are not tagged with, please don't send me the sales stuff. Anyway, we can walk through what that looks like if you guys are interested in the future to get into the details on that. Your sales campaign should be as well fairly lengthy. 10 to 12 emails is a good call. The frequency of them, I would do every day to every other day, especially if you're really working on an urgency factor here. And again, urgency not being manufactured. If what you're launching is live, then you really do have urgency that you can lean on. Otherwise, you want to lean on the urgency of the problem that you solve. And then, of course, throughout the sales campaign, you want to be linking to that sales page you've got for your program. So before you do any of this stuff, do make sure that you've got a sales page. All right. And then in that email sequence, you can tell stories, share value. Of course, you want to do that because, people want to have something else to read there other than just a sell fest, but don't be afraid to pitch here. Really sell this stuff because you want people to want to go and buy. All right. So let's talk about the different types of funnels that we have here as options for our pre-launch. And the first of these is a waitlist funnel. This is something that you could put together before you even have a sales campaign created, but I would caution, or a sales page or even campaign created, but I would caution against putting something like this up too soon, right? Because people are going to forget that they signed up for it and they are not going to be the best leads by the time you get around to it if you wait too long, right? So let's talk about when you can use a waitlist funnel. You want to do this when it's almost ready to launch, right? Your program or your product is almost ready to sell, right? So within, maybe 2-3 weeks tops. This is also going to be something that's useful to you if you have already been publicly talking about, whether to your list or to your audience, this thing that you're launching. So if people already know what this is to some extent and understand, again, to some extent, the value of what's going to be coming their way. And then it's especially helpful if you run something that is time sensitive. Maybe you do group coaching once a quarter or something like that. If you've run it before, a waitlist funnel is something that you could keep up on your website when registration is not open for this program. So this is useful in an evergreen sense if you do have a program that you launch on a repeat basis. And then if you're using a waitlist funnel, then you are going to want to filter for the tagged contacts, the people who opted into this waitlist funnel, and then apply the sales campaign to those contacts when you're ready to actually launch your offer. Okay. So how you make this, and I'll show you the diagram next. How you make this is first to create a short campaign that's going to have any confirmation information about the not yet launched course that they've just joined the waitlist for. If you have launch dates, include them. If you have other places to engage, if you've got a Facebook group, something like that, include that kind of information in this campaign. And by short, I do mean one message, maybe two, right? Because all they did was say, hey, I want to know when you launch your thing. So we don't want to bug them, like if it's not ready. So let's send them the confirmation that's got everything they need to know. And then, sure, if you wanted to add one more and say, hey, what are you most excited to learn about, right? And that's really more if you want to be engaging directly with your list. Up to you. It's a matter of taste and strategy. All right. So then the next thing we want to do is create a landing page or a page with a lead form that sells your wait list, right? That's where people are going to land and they're going to say, oh yeah, I'll put my name and email in here, right? And in the setup of that page, we're going to connect the campaign that you've made here. We'll add tags like your program name waitlist, and then we'll send them after they've filled out their information on the page to a confirmation page. And if you have a confirmation page set up, which again, if you watch the previous video that we have on this channel with the 5 must-have website templates, confirmation page is one of those, which is essentially a page that's telling them to go check their email. Okay, this is what it looks like. They visit a landing page. When they enter their information, they're rerouted to a confirmation page. They're tagged with whatever your lead tag is here, which would be, your program plus waitlist or something like that. They would then receive a confirmation email and then potentially an engagement email beyond that, which is totally optional. Waitlist funnel is incredibly simple and something that, again, would be really useful to you if you are running something on a repeat basis that does have a cart close. And of course, also, if you are working on something and you want to be talking about it and getting people excited about it, specifically talking about it, not, you're not keeping the cat in the bag here. You're actually letting it out and you're saying, hey, I'm going to be offering a thing. If you want to know about it, here's how you get on the list. All right. So that's our waitlist funnel. Our freebie funnel, this is going to look, I think, more familiar to most of us. This is more of a traditional lead generation offer, right? This is where you have a free thing on your website and people can become a lead. Now, there is one caveat here. You do want to make sure that the currency that your freebie answers is one that is congruent with the solutions that you're offering in your program. So let's talk about when we would use a freebie funnel. Literally anytime, because you want to be getting leads on your website all the time. So I'm going to show you a simplified version of what this looks like in a diagram and how to create it. But do, again, make sure that your outcomes and currencies for this freebie are in alignment with the course or program that you're going to launch. And this freebie funnel, you're not talking about the program at all. You're not talking about the course at all. You're literally offering something that if somebody were a perfect client for your upcoming offer that you're going to launch, they have a problem that they'd like to solve right now. One of the greatest things you can do is actually take a step out of your program and give it away, right? And that's something that we teach in the Client Funnel Talent Challenge. So you could use that same approach here. So how you would do this is to, of course, create your lead magnet, your freebie. It could be a video, could be a PDF. I think more often than not, we've got a PDF of some kind. Then you're going to create a short campaign that links to your lead magnet, whether that's a video embedded in a page or linking them to a PDF that you've uploaded into your AttractWell system. We'll then create a landing page or page that sells that freebie. And then in that page or landing page settings, connect this campaign, add tags, and of course, send the visitor to a confirmation page. And then once you are ready to launch, you do want to make sure that you are sending out an invitation for people to hear from you about this thing that you've just launched, right? Or you could just go ahead and apply that sales campaign manually. Or another option here, and I'll show you a fully drawn out version of this at the end of our slides here today. You can also use this as a lead-in if you're going to be using a webinar style presentation to connect to your sales page, right? You could also send folks to your sales page who have opted into this, but this is the kind of thing you can be doing pre-launch to build your list and get more people into your contact manager onto your list who are interested in getting the kind of help that you're able to provide, because they've either said, put me on the wait list, or, oh, hey, I have that problem. They just don't know yet that you also solve that problem in a big way in your program or course, right? All right, so the freebie funnel is really simple as well. In this particular iteration, the client funnel challenge is a little bit more drawn out, but we've got our landing page. When they put their information in, they go to a confirmation page. They're tagged as a lead and perhaps tagged with whatever the currency or particular interest is or problem that freebie solves. And then, of course, you're going to send them a confirmation email that's going to have a link to access the freebie. And then you could have one or even many more engagement emails that follow, because this kind of funnel you can be using anytime to build your list. All right, now let's talk about something that is a bit more of an undertaking, but can prove to be a really valuable asset for your business long-term, depending on your offer, and that is a challenge. So a challenge really can be an offer unto itself, but let's talk about how we can use this in the context of a pre-launch. In my experience, this works best with high ticket or high commitment offers. Okay, so this is where we want to be thinking about the overall experience and the price point of the program or course that you're launching. If you are offering a high ticket program that really involves, let's just say, for instance, maybe you're a health coach or you're a naturopath, or you're somewhere working in the wellness practice field, and there's a lot of work that your clients kind of need to do. They got to change their diet. They got to, fill out a food diary. They got to take supplements. Like, it's work, right? Challenges I've seen, especially in the holistic space, can do a lot to bridge the gap in understanding so that someone starts to see that, oh, wow, I really need more intensive help, right? Or another instance where I've seen this work incredibly well is where you have a bit of a list that's maybe gone dormant, and you want to really get people on that list engaged and excited to hear from you and communicating with you, and maybe even kind of filtering themselves, off of your list if they need to, so that when it's time for you to start promoting the thing that you're launching, you've got a really active, engaged group. Okay. So this does, like I mentioned, it helps to educate your people. It helps to expose the gap between what they feel like they already have access to as it pertains to the problem that they want to solve. And then, of course, them ultimately being able to see that, oh, wow, I could really use more than just this. It gives them a taste of what you can do with them or for them, depending on what you offer. It does help to increase engagement and grow your list. And it's also, this is something that's good for newer businesses, or if you've got a little bit of a dead list, and you want to build a strong community base before you launch your higher ticket offer. The cool thing about these is that they can be free. Like, when you launch it, it could be a free thing. You could use it as a paid thing later, as a standalone thing that you can just sell on its own if you set it to automation. And look at my autocorrect here. Downsell is apparently not recognized by my computer. It's a downsell is what I was mentioning here in this final word. So two instances where this that I wanted to share with you, where a challenge lead into a bigger offer have worked really well. Client one is a business coach with she had a sizable following that she hadn't been mailing in a while. It had been maybe 2 to 6 months. I forget how long it had been, but it's quite a while. If you go more than a month without emailing your list, they start to forget who you are, right? So she had an older list, and we had developed a program together that she was going to launch. I want to say it's in the neighborhood of, 4,000 euro, I think is what it was the ultimate price point that she was going for. And so her program was offering sort of an A to Z to help people grow their business online using the systems that she uses. Well, she wanted to see how many people on her list might even be interested in that. And so we did, I think it was like a week long or maybe a 5-day challenge where she helped them identify their ideal client and create a funnel, right? So here's a little bitty thing. And she does teach that little bitty thing in the big thing that she's selling. But it was able to help her leverage that older, quieter, deader list. And she was able to have a 38,000 initial euro launch, on her specific program there, and we were able to set it to automation later, and she made her challenge a downsell. So if people don't buy the big program, they could now buy the challenge for 50 euro or something like that. One other example, a naturopath with an online program helping women balance their hormones. It's a very exhaustive, very intensive process. She works with them on supplement schedules and things like this. What she decided to do, because she has this very big program, again, it's somewhere in the $4 to $5,000 range. A lot of people don't even know that they have all of the problems that her program solves. And so what we decided to do is do a lead-in of a challenge just around weight loss. She did a weight loss one and she did a balance your blood sugar one. And the weight loss one was the one that really took off the most, because obviously it's just a better keyword. It's a phrase that most people are more familiar with and could apply to themselves as their goals. And so she sold that initial challenge. And then at the end of the challenge, which I think was maybe 2 or 3 weeks, she then offered to apply the tuition of the challenge toward the program. So she got a lot of really great clients from that. So a challenge is something you would be executing in a vault ideally. And of course, if you are using this approach, in this case as well, as the challenge concludes, you would be applying that sales campaign to your tagged contacts, or you would say, hey, come check out this workshop, webinar, training recording, whatever you want to call it, and then let that be the thing that applies to sales campaign. All right, so how your challenge offer would be made is to create a challenge vault. You would create a campaign for the length of the live challenge to be checking in with people daily and engaging during it. And then, of course, to sell the challenge, whether you're literally selling it or doing this for free as a lead-in offer, which is more what we're talking about here. You can create a landing page that sells it, or a page that sells it. And under the settings for that landing page or page, you'll connect the vault that you've made. You'll add any of the appropriate tags that you need, and you'll send your visitor to a confirmation page as usual. And then, of course, you would apply your campaign prior to that live challenge start date. So this is more or less what it would look like. They go to a landing page to participate in the challenge. They get a confirmation page that they're redirected to that says, go check your email. They get an email because the landing page is adding them to the vault. That automatically sends them a welcome to vault email. And then, of course, inside the challenge, you can either apply manually or you can use automations to apply your challenge sequence in here. And then, of course, whenever you're ready to actually sell or launch your program, you apply that sales campaign. All right. Webinar funnel, we're almost done. All right. So when to use your webinar funnel is going to be when your course or program is ready to sell. Because what you should be doing if you're using a webinar style approach to selling your product or your offer, your program, is you want to introduce it as a workshop, a training, a how-to, where you're really meeting that person where they are with information that they want to know right now that they find very useful and helpful to them. And then you get to expose the gap between what you've now helped them with and what they really want, right? And then, of course, you're able to sell the program in that video. Okay, so you're going to want to do this when your course is ready to sell, because your video, literally the thing that they're going to be watching, needs to be telling them to click the button below and go buy the thing on the sales page, right? So this is going to be great for offers as well that need a little bit more than a sales page to do the selling, right? If you have a 47.97, 147, 297, whatever, if you have a lower ticket offer, then a sales page can do all the heavy lifting for you. A webinar style presentation is going to help increase the likelihood of conversion. But it's not necessarily going to take the place of a one-on-one call. If you're putting together an offer that really is designed for you to work one-on-one with clients or in a high-level group coaching setting, they're going to probably want a conversation with you, especially depending on the price point. But so this is going to be kind of the in-between, right? If you need a little bit more sales support than just a sales page, but you don't quite need to go all the way with a one-on-one call. Okay. Now, how we make this is first to create a quote unquote webinar page. And basically all that is you take that video that has your education and selling in it, and you embed that onto a page. You're going to have a button there that ideally you can delay when it pops up, right? So that when you say, click the button below, maybe the button appears. That'd be a cool thing to do. You can do that with our platform. And then of course that button would link off to the sales page so that they can purchase. Then we want to create an automation that applies a tag and a sales campaign and sends them to this webinar page, because in our campaign, we are going to be using that, right? So basically when somebody registers, and I'll show you here, let me just skip ahead real quick and show you. This is a bit more complicated, right? Someone goes to a landing page, you're saying, watch my free workshop. It's going to teach you XYZ thing. They opt in. We're up here in the landing page, right? They go to a confirmation page. It says, check your email. So they go over here to their email and they click confirmation. You know, they're in here. I open the email. I want to watch the webinar. So let's just say that they never actually opened this email to go watch the webinar. Well, we don't want to send them a sales sequence because they haven't had a chance to see the video yet, right? So what we want to do is we want to attach an automation, right? That automation is what's going to apply the sales sequence, which I would delay for one day later, just so you know. If we're sending them to the webinar page where they get to watch the video, I would want them to the following day start receiving the sales sequence. And then of course the webinar page goes to the sales page. So let's go back through this. So we create a webinar page, shows the video, links to the sales page, create an automation that applies whatever tag you want and the sales campaign, and it redirects to the webinar page that we've created as the first step. Then we're going to write a campaign that is, hey, you're registered. Here's the link to go watch the workshop, right? And then maybe you could have another one the second day that says, hey, just wanted to make sure you got this if you want, right? And then use that automation link that you created in step 2 to send your visitor to the webinar page in those campaign emails. So instead of linking to the webinar page, you're using the automation to do it, because when they click that link, they will go to the webinar page, but they'll also get tagged with a new tag. They'll start getting the sales campaign. Maybe automation could also remove the initial, I signed up for the workshop campaign, right? Then we're going to create a landing page or a page that sells the webinar. And under settings on that page, you're going to connect the campaign that you've created here, add tags, and send the visitor to a confirmation page so that you have this. All right. I'm going to make sure these slides are available for you to download in the description of our recording today so that you can really walk through this and make sure you're following this like a checklist if you want to make any of this stuff. All right. Another option, there is a full funnel course training. That's attractwell.com/CFC. This is free as of the time of filming today. You should take advantage of this. We basically here show you how to, after outlining your offer, identify what to put out front as the thing to get a lead so that you can move them through the process. And then what you can see here, if you're familiar with the Client Funnel Challenge, on a fairly recent office hours training, I did a new version of this, which you see here, where we can go and combine a freebie offer to send them to a webinar, and then of course initiate a new sequence, right? So what we're looking at here is that somebody is getting, here's my free checklist or my shopping list or what have you, and they opt in for it. And when they go to the authority page on the next page, we say, hey, so glad that you grabbed the download. It's on its way to your email right now. But real quick, if you're looking for XYZ thing, you should really check out this workshop. And then they click register, and that takes them to this webinar page. Now they start getting that sales sequence and they're offered the sales page. All the while, after they had opted in to get the free thing, they're still getting that, which is the stuff that's down here on the bottom. Right? It's a lot. It's a lot, but visually, I just want to make sure you guys see sort of how that all ties together. So what we have the opportunity to do now is to actually go and show and tell in the system and look at how some of this stuff might tie together. If you have questions about how this could work for your specific offer, your unique business, this will be a great opportunity to do so. Just make sure you're putting your questions or any of those requests to review or look over stuff together into the Q&A here on Zoom. Melody asked a good question. Not understanding your definition of vault. Does it mean email list? No, it's actually a completely different thing. So if you were to, let me go over to AttractWell here real quick, and I can show you this. So a vault is where you would actually offer your course or program. And if you were doing a challenge, it's where that would take place as well. So I'm just consistently getting this wrong today. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. So inside of AttractWell, your list is under my contacts. And the segmentation of your list is just going to be, basically you go to my contacts and then you filter for tags, right? So if somebody's opted in for a free thing, then, you would go to that accelerator free thing, you'd filter for those people, and that's who you'd apply your sales campaign to. If you wanted to use the example like Laura's that I shared with you earlier, where somebody might say, I don't want to get these emails, maybe there's a tag here that says, do not send sales campaign, launch date, whatever, and you can exclude those people. So that's your list. Your list is your contacts, and the segments of your list are your filters. When I said vault, this is actually down here in your member area. So if you're going to run a challenge, that's going to take place in a vault. That's where you can have online class lessons. It's sort of like a mini course, if you will, where you can have video, or you can go live on Zoom or whatever, and people can be a part of it. But yeah, it's not your list per se. Your vault is where you actually sell or give away either a course or a mini course or group coaching or something like that inside of your member area on your site. Oh, good question, Mark. A waitlist funnel. I don't have one that's already made to show you, but I could show you how to make one really quickly, like what the front end of it would look like. And that's kind of the thing, right? Like the majority of what the funnel does is not the landing page, right? That's important to know. So I could show you the landing page, but what's important is that they get the right emails, right? That go out after the fact, and that they're redirected to a confirmation page that says, go check your emails. But we can go and take a look real quick and just kind of see what just using the landing page feature would look like here, just to keep that simple. Let me see. So let's just pretend we're making a wait list. So I'll go to create landing page. I'm going to use the simple short form here. I'm going to go to Canva and create a join the wait list. Go to logo here. Okay. Yeah, we'll put a cute little image here that says join the wait list. So join move these guys out. Just design this up a little bit. All right, so here we go. That's done. We'll send that to AttractWell. This is it. So that's basically it, right? Choose to have whatever you want here, change the button, add me to the list, right? And then under settings, we want to send them to a confirmation page, which, oh, that's campaign. So we want to send them down here to website custom page, confirmation. There we go. We want to attach a campaign. So this would be a waitlist campaign, which we don't have. The link path here, we're going to say name of your course waitlist, name of course waitlist, right? So if we save and view this, then this becomes something that you can share. You can attach it wherever you want to. And of course, this is going to work similarly as well if you have a freebie that you've created. This, we change this image out for get my shopping list. And then we would say, enter your info below to get instant access to my shopping list. And then here we would add the, the campaign that delivers the freebie and then has whatever initial, sort of lead warm up sequence that you want to include in your campaign. And then you would change these settings accordingly, but always send them to a confirmation page so that they're going to a good spot that reminds them to check their email. So that's what it would look like once it's done. But again, like a lot of this stuff, it needs to be done in its like constituent parts before you even finish with that last step that I just showed you. So if you want to see the breakdown of how steps like this are performed and to actually get templates for a lot of pieces of this, do make sure you go to attractwell.com/CFC. Go get the client funnel challenge because I've got authority page in there. There's pages that have templates where you can plug in your own video to make a webinar style replay. If you want to make a registration page, if you want to make a freebie and you don't know how, that is all in there. Now, that course was designed initially to allow you the ability, to get people onto calls with you. But as the diagram that I shared with here with you today shows, you can, instead of using an authority page that tells them to book a call with you, you can tell them to register for that webinar. So I hope that helps. Let me get into some more questions here. And thank you, Mark. Good to see you here today. Can you show me how to set up options for different payment options that we advertise on the sales page? I just know how to add coupon codes in the vault payment options. Yeah, so Karen, it depends on where you are having them make the purchase. So if it is something that is recurring in any way, the payment for your offer is recurring in any way, you do want to keep that at the vault level. And you don't have to create a coupon code for it. You just simply set up your payment preferences, for plan 1, plan 2, whatever, or you just have one. On pages though, and we do go over this for what it's worth in our sales page training that you can find on our YouTube channel, but let's go take a look. I think it's John L is the one that, wait, before I do this, I don't think that this Coachly account has payment set up, Greg. Tell you what,
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, here, let me go and get into something that would make more sense here. Okay, it's in your vault, yes, but you're creating a sales page leading to it. Karen, is it recurring or is it a one-time payment? One-time payment or payment plan. If there's more than one payment, it's recurring. Okay, so then what you're going to want to do is definitely set up payments at the vault level. So set up payments at the vault level, and then the button on your sales page is going to send them to your vault checkout page. So let's go look at what that looks like. Okay, so Pipeline Igniter is a paid vault. So let's go check that out. We'll go to payment setup. We've got all of it set up here. We've got our pricing plans. You could have monthly, whatever, but this vault page URL, this guy right here, copy that. And that's what you're going to link to on your buttons, your call to action buttons on your sales page. So set your payment options up here. Of course, which I think you said you already know how to do, but then you're just going to copy this and link to this from the sales page that you're creating. Let me know if you have any other questions. Oh, Melody, we like you too. All right, Valerie, do you have a template for contact information import? That's a good question. No, not necessarily, because you're going to want to import a CSV file. But let's go over and look at the different options. I mean, basically the information that you're going to be able to import into your contacts. And let me go back into Jane's account. So we can, okay, here we go. So if we're logging in and now I can share. Okay. So when you're importing your contacts, the fields that you're going to want to include are the same as those if we go to create here. So things like first and last name, email address, mobile phone number, city, state, postal code. If you have network marketing features turned on, then, you know, whenever they started with their auto ship with you, are they on auto ship, all of that kind of stuff, right? It's basically this stuff that's right here that you're going to want to import. But the thing is, you have drop-down menus that you can select. So even if you don't have them in the, you know, they don't need to be in the exact specific order for you to be able to import them successfully. You just need to have this basic information there. Tags would be something, or tags or notes or stuff like that, that could populate, like you can include that kind of thing. But for each entry that you have on your CSV file, for all of the contacts that you're uploading, you're going to see a drop-down menu in AttractWell that's going to allow you to designate, is this first name, is this last name, this is phone number, this is address, this is email, and so on. So it's not really template so much as just make sure you got this stuff and then just select the corresponding things in the drop-down when you're uploading. All right, so Alicia, integrated directly into the system, yes, is Stripe. There are other, like the client I mentioned in Belgium, I think they have a lot of users who don't use Stripe for some reason. I don't remember the reasoning, but she uses an alternate payment portal, but still runs 100% of everything else on her AttractWell system. But that is the primary option. Great questions, you guys. If you guys have any others, if you want to talk about what a lead-in might look like for your specific offer, I think everyone should have a wait list up. Everybody should have a freebie funnel up. The others are, of course, just a touch more complicated. But when you're ready to actually get to that point where you're closer to launch, maybe you want to do a webinar style funnel, do make sure that you consult this training and that you grab the slides as downloads so that you can kind of see how everything connects together. And you'll also sort of see the build order. Because that is build order on each of those. Because if you go and you create your landing page first, but you don't have your campaign written yet, or you don't have a confirmation page yet, you're going to have to go back and redo things and try to reconnect. And it's a little disorienting. So if you just work in order, you'll actually get a lot more done more quickly with less frustration. Okay, can I import contacts to AttractWell from another platform? Yes. Do I need people on the contact list to accept the new platform? We don't have that second, we don't require that on our upload. So I would encourage you, if there are people that you've never emailed before, to send out some kind of permission confirmation. But if you've already gotten permission to email them, you can just import them directly. And so long as you, I would also recommend make sure that you have your email server set up with us. Get in touch with us if you haven't done so already. That way it's a seamless experience. They don't even know that you changed platforms. Karen says, I did what you said, but when I check the link, it just shows up as the one option, not the choices, unless they put in the coupon code. So let me go back over here and see if I can come up with a use case here that I can show you. All right, glad that helped. All right, let's go over to the vault again so we can review those payment options. Okay, so if we go to payment setup, the only thing that's going to show is the thing that doesn't have a coupon code. If you want multiple options, remove coupon codes, right? So let's just say, I'm going to remove this. I don't even know what this is here for. I'm going to save this. And then I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually open this successfully because I'm logged in. Yeah, I'm logged in. So let me log out of that real quick and I'll show you what that looks like. If you remove the coupon code though, that's the short answer, then you're going to be able to see that. I think maybe if I open like a new private browsing window, that might help.
That should, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yes, it does. Okay, so you saw that I deleted the coupon code where it said Michelle. Well, now you see that option there. So if you're not seeing your options showing up, it could just be because you've put codes in for all of them. The codes are there to be like a secret thing that you give people so that they get whatever that special price is. But if you want multiple options available that anybody could see, just make sure that they're named, but that they don't have codes, and then they'll show up publicly. Let me add that back because Michelle is not a payment option. Awesome. Okay, I hope that helps. Yeah, great questions, you guys. Any more before we go? And look, if you have any requests, if you want to see more of this stuff in depth on a future live call, then please let us know. We're happy to create more content that helps you to, provide more context and next steps to your business as you get to launching these amazing things you're putting together to make your mark on the world and help people. So yeah, if that's it, if there's no more questions, we're going to get going, and I wish you guys all the best this week. Can't wait to hear from you, what you want to learn next, and we'll be here same time next week. And yeah, you guys have a great weekend.
Bye.